Hey everybody. Had a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys about Operation American Spring. We're coming up down now to the last week. A lot of people are still not sure if they're going to go. I will tell you that on Facebook we do have a ride-sharing page set up now, 2 of them, one for the state of Virginia and one for across the country. So if you'd like to come, but transportation's an issue, you know, if you can find us on Facebook between all the scam OAS sites out there, then you'll probably be able to find just some rides to carpool with. But once we arrive in DC, there's certain things that I just want to kind of go over with you that I think everybody needs to have on them. And talk about it, because as many of you know, I had done some protesting in the past, and there's certain things that the first few times I went I didn't think about, just like the first few times you go camping, you know, you just don't think about things. So first of all, I want to talk about your shoes. You need to have an extra pair of shoes in your backpack. When you are standing all day long and walking around, and there's not exactly a bunch of chairs, there's some places to sit like on the ground, but when you're on your feet all day long in the heat, oh man, your feet can really be the death of you. Everybody in the military knows that. They need to be 2 different types of shoes. It's not going to do you much good to replace one pair of shoes with the same exact pair of shoes. Perhaps you have a comfortable pair of earth shoes, sandals or something, that if you begin to get too hot, you can take your socks and tennis shoes off and put on a pair of earth shoes for a little while. But I caution about the type of sandals that a lot of people are going to be inclined to wear. If you've got the between the toe and, you know, kind of like that, you're going to blister yourself up fierce, especially if it's a newer pair of shoes, ladies. But the reason why I said earth sandals is because they often are just straps right across. Now, you're not going to want to be in sandals all day long. My theory on that is it's the middle of the afternoon, you're hot, you're sweaty, your feet are tired. If you're going to be staying in one general area for a little while, you can put those shoes on. But make sure it's a pair of shoes that if you had to take off walking quickly or running, they're going to stay on your feet. Flip-flops are not going to be safe for you to do that in. Tennis shoes are best, obviously. Hiking boots are going to be a little uncomfortable and heavy. It's a mistake I made one time. I went to a protest, an all-day and all-night protest, and it had been raining outside, so I put on a pair of my boots. And it will mesmerize you how heavy those boots can get after a few hours out there. So take you an extra pair, you know, of something to switch into. Pair of clean socks, a second pair of shoes. Make sure you're not wearing something that's going to cut between your toes and cause blisters. Make sure they're not new shoes. Make sure you can run in them, walk in them, and stand in them. Stick that extra pair of shoes in your backpack. Your backpack itself. Obviously, you need a couple balls of water in there. You're going to be surprised, being outside in the heat, how fast you can go through water, and water is going to be scarce to come by. Bring you some snacks. You may get up and have you a big breakfast. Maybe the snack's not going to be for you. Maybe it's somebody that perhaps hasn't been diagnosed with diabetes yet, doesn't know. Their sugar level drops, they're standing beside you and they need something quick. But snacks are good. Don't be thinking you're going to take off and go have a big lunch at some fancy restaurant. There's going to be a lot of walking involved if you do that. And plus, what a lot of people don't realize is you will get caught up in the moment and not want to leave to go to a restaurant. When you're passionate about something and you travel all the way to our nation's capital and people are coming in and it's getting bigger crowds and you're talking to people and it's mesmerizing sometimes, even in a group of 100 people, to see like-minded people waving their flags and wearing their colors and stuff. So don't discount the fact that you may not leave to go eat a meal. So pack yourself some snacks and a little something extra in case somebody next to you needs them. I'm going to recommend a poncho. Get you a light rain poncho that you can get at Walmart for like $2. You know, they're real thin and light. They're folded up real tight. 2 reasons. One is obviously in case it rains. You're going to be there for several days this time of year. You got cold air masses hitting warm air masses. Storms can pop up, and there's nothing more miserable than walking around somewhere away from your comfort zone and getting wet. Second reason I'm going to mention a poncho is for the same reason I'm also going to mention gas masks. If they do begin shooting tear bombs at people, then you don't want the tear gas getting on your clothes. It'll rub into your skin if you get wet. If you can put on a poncho and a gas mask, you're good. You're good. Then you can just rinse off that poncho or take it off and throw it away. So your backpack should have an extra pair of shoes, an extra pair of socks, bottled water, snacks, sugary and fiber filled, poncho, gas masks. That's my main 5 items that I would say are desperately needed in your backpack. Don't forget, you're probably going to want to either make yourself signs. Maybe you've got something to say, impeach Obama now, or Pelosi must go, or Operation American Spring, whatever. Go on and get your signs made now. Don't wait till the night before, because it's kind of difficult making a sign, actually. You think it's easy, but you're just going to need some poster boards, some markers, and you can go down to like a Lowe's or Home Depot, get you the little wooden stakes, and staple them or nail the sign right onto it. Some people like to carry flags to protest. If you do that, make sure that the pole that you're carrying is lightweight. You might even have to make your own flagpole. You can get the supplies at Lowe's, Home Depot, etc. And also, people often want to bring their cameras and stuff, which you need to. But you need to pick, because you're going to have a backpack. Most women are going to want to carry a purse. I'll have all my purse stuff in my backpack. And if you've got a camera in one hand, a sign in another, and a flag, I mean, you know, you need to have some freedom to move your hands about. I'll probably, between Mike and I, carry one item, probably a flag, so that him and I can switch off carrying it. I'm going to have my camera. Cameras are very, very important. If you've got a camcorder, even better. If you know how to download YouTube Capture onto your cell phone, or Ustream TV, do it. The media may or may not cover us. There will be some media outlets there, alternative media, like RT, which is Russia television. I'm hoping InfoWars will be there. Pete Santilli, perhaps. You know, there'll be people like that. But your friends and your family members may not have access or know how to look up some of those channels. And one thing we want to do is make sure that we have evidence of things that happen. We want to be able to prove that if they say we were out of control and so they retaliated, but we weren't, we want it on camera. It's the best defense that you've got to protect yourself. Second of all, it's important that we get the word out there and show people throughout the country that we are there, and that will encourage more to come in for the second and third waves of this. I'm going to obviously be uploading actively to this channel. It's going to be a little bit challenging for me because my cell phone, I've got an iPhone, and I've got like 20 pictures on it and 5 songs, and it's constantly telling me that my storage data limit's reached. I can't record anything on there. Can barely take a picture without deleting other pictures. So I'm going to use my Handycam, and I'll have my laptop at the, I'm going to have to carry it. Well, I can't. I'll probably only be able to upload videos in the evenings when I get back to the campsite, because My laptop doesn't hold a charge. Anyway, I'll get videos uploaded by the end of each day of things that happened that day onto my channel here. And for my faithful subs, I'm going to ask you to make sure that you share the hell out of those videos. Reason being, like I said, if they lie about what we've done or what we're doing, or if they just don't cover us, it's very important that the word gets out there. And so I encourage you also, if you have a way that you can, you know, if you don't have a YouTube channel, set one up, or look into Ustream. Ustream usually is a live broadcast, which is what I wish I could do. Maybe I still can. Maybe my phone doesn't need memory storage for that. I'll check into it. But anyway, if you carry a camera in your backpack, you're not going to be carrying signs and flags because it's just too difficult. And, you know, we're not trying to break our arms and stuff doing this. So make sure that comfort is part of your packing while you're doing this. And in the meantime, those of you all that aren't going, please, starting on that Friday night, May 16th, heck, even at the campground on Thursday night, the 15th, when we're set up and we're there, and we're going to be there with all the veterans. I'm going to be doing some interviews and videoing. So please, subs, make sure that you put yourself a mental note starting on the evening of May 15th on through every evening. Check my channel and share the hell out of the videos so that the word gets out there. I want to talk to you about layered clothing. It's going to be warm, but let's just say that a little drizzle comes through and you get damp. Trust me, you can get cold when you're pushing your body, and most Americans are not overly physically fit. It's easier to take off a shirt and stick it in your backpack than it is, you know, to freeze to death. So even though it's that time of year, it's not going to be July or August. It is middle of May, so it can still get cool in the evenings. And don't think that just because you decide, well, I'm going to leave at 7 p.m., that you're going to make it to any vehicle or metro station quickly. You're going to be in the dark for a while if you don't leave out of there early. But we don't want people leaving out there early. So pack yourself an extra shirt or, you know, sweat jacket of some kind. That way you can take it off and put it on. When your body temperature gets up real high during the day, that's another thing. You don't even have to be wet. You can just get the chills, almost like a heat fever type thing. So think as if you're camping. Don't expect to follow schedules. There's a lot of people, that's what they're all about, schedules. I will arrive at this exact time and I'll be on this vehicle, and then I will go from here to there, and blah. You know what? Between the traffic, between the amount of people trying to get off and on the metros, we don't know. For all we know, it could be 100 people show up, or it could be 1 million. And somewhere in between there is a number that starts really wreaking havoc on things like metro trains filling up, roads becoming backed up. Now, with that being said, that leads me into my next point. I was speaking to somebody on one of the group pages I'm on Facebook. Hold on a second here. There's a lot of people saying things like, well, you know, there's people that live in DC, residentials and stuff, and if we jam up traffic, then they're going to try to control things and bring the military out. Been to DC and protested a few times. Been to DC anyway. That area of DC is not residential, folks. And all around the mall there is parking. I'm sure it's going to be filled. But the residents are usually like in Alexandria, Manassas, Georgetown, areas like that. They're not right there in with the monuments. So don't worry about that. And I've been to protests and rallies where we were stopping traffic, and what the cops did, the Capitol Police, not the federal military, they directed traffic and they allowed us to march on through. you have to remember something about DC. They're used to this. You might not be. Maybe you've not protested. This particular person I spoke to was like, last time there was a gathering in DC, blah, 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 and military, this, that, and the other. That was in 1932, which she was talking about. Been a lot of protests since then. So they know how to handle it. The traffic is set out for it, believe it or not. That's one reason why there's so many one-way streets. So don't buy into some of this fear-mongering, this goofy stuff. You know, they're not going to bring out the military because we show up. The reason why they would bring out military would be, first of all, after a while, getting irritated and being done with us, and if somebody does something stupid. And I have no hesitation in saying to you that I do fear somebody will do something stupid. There's a lot of trigger-happy people out there that are itching for a fight, and that's not what we're going in there for. We're going in there to redress our government of our grievances and to ask for the impeachment of several leaders. If the impeachment process flows correctly, then the government can use what's already laid out in the Constitution as far as who to put in their places, okay? Now, I'm not necessarily sure that that's what the OAS plan is, but that's how it would happen if anybody were impeached. I think we all know that in reality, in the first few days, nobody's going to get impeached and nobody's going to step down. So again, the fear-mongering is out of control. Everybody needs to use some common sense and stop worrying about the things that aren't real. DC does not want to turn machine guns against unarmed citizens for protesting, because all that would do is do the opposite of what they want. They would like to brush us under the rug. They can't do that if they're shooting at us. Too many people would find out about it and they would kick off the war. And they don't want that, and we don't want that. Now, once we've been there for a while, if we're not successful, there may be some groups out there that have some second wave and third wave plans. I've heard about a few of them. And I don't know what their level of commitment is, and I don't know at what point they would decide to take over the rally. But for those of you all who want to go for the first few days, I'm here to tell you, they're not going to bring out the SWAT teams because we're stopping up traffic. They've not done that shit before. It would not behoove them to do that. Now, if we were there for a month, 2 months, start getting like that, maybe. Okay? Or if people start doing stupid things, like throwing things at the White House or, you know, desecrating on monuments, they'll get their asses beat by some of us protesters first. But I'm just telling you, that's the most ridiculous thing. It's fear-mongering, and it's just not how DC works. So bear that in mind, and bear in mind that what they have there is the Capitol Police and the Metro Police. They are police officers, just like your local police officers. Of course, they're on federal land, so they do have a little bit more authority, but they are people just like us, and they see protests all the time. Anytime you pull into DC, at some point in that city, you're going to find a protest group. Now, it might only be 10 people there. Sometimes it's hundreds of people, and sometimes it's thousands of people. But this is what these guys there do. So they already know we're coming. And I'm sure that what they're expecting is, they'll be there for a few days, you know, let them have their little signs, and then they'll all go home. It'll be after, that was my chickens knocking over some plants of mine, that's great. It'll be after those few days that if anything is going to happen negative, it would happen. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for those of you all who are planning on just that little bit of time, I really hope, you know, some of these thoughts will help you out with your backpack, your shoes, water, camera, flags, signs, layered clothing. Don't expect to follow schedules exactly. And the military is not going to blow you up because you show up in D.C. on our property and hold your sign or flag up. It's not going to happen. Okay? As long as you follow the laws and do not carry a gun in there. Do not harass or intimidate anybody of any authority figure, cops or whatever. Don't throw things at buildings. Common sense stuff. You know, put on your big girl panties and your big boy panties and be mature, and let's us take our few days to go in there and redress our grievances to our government. After that, I'm going to come home and get back to work and, you know, do my thing here and pray for those that are still there. So that's all we can do at this point. There's a couple other YouTube channels out there you guys might want to look into. They are OAS channels. There's an official Operation American Spring channel. There's one called OAS. Of course, my channel. There's several other people. I'm going to start trying to get these channels reined in a little bit so I can give you a list of them so you can sub to several people, and then that way if somebody's not able to upload something or give some information, you might have it coming in elsewhere. Lastly, facial recognition. If you're scared about facial recognition, don't forget about your ears as well. If you decide to cover your face up, your ears are traceable the same way as your face. So cover your ears as well. I'm not going to worry about it. I have no fears of going in there and redressing my government of my grievances. It's my constitutional right, and I'm not going to hide from them over it. But there are many people, for various reasons, you know, own businesses or just whatever. It's important to them. So I just wanted to remind you of that when you cover your face, here, down, and your ears. Okay? I'm getting excited, guys. Peace.